I'll take him on. I'll take him down. I'll take on BO. My behind the back, step back three, drain it.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 11th, 2020. This is episode 264, and today, Cy-Roach, Madmax Mind Control. And you know me, I am President-elect, your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we love Jesus, we love you, learning to love ourselves, and so hard to pray for our enemies, those commies. Those commies in our country, we're trying to pray for them.
Commies are not the enemy.
Wait,
are they? Who's the enemy now? I forget.
I don't know, but they're one of the enemies.
Yeah. It's, as far as my Cold War programming is concerned, that sounds about right.
Now, we need to explain for the viewers of the live stream what is happening to you.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Nothing's different.
Just
fine.
Look over your right shoulder.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, Joe, I didn't see you there. I'm being sniffed by our alleged president-elect. Yes, that's right. So we're on a little bit of a different technical setup today. I am out traversing time and space through wormholes and the portals that exist in the inner worlds of both our earthly moon and the moons of several other celestial entities. Don't worry about it, though. I am on a different microphone, so we're testing out kind of a different microphone sound. So far, so good. And yes, my avatar, my live stream avatar has been replaced by myself, a past version of myself. I still got the big googly eyeballs, but I do have a flippy robotic arm coming off my left shoulder, and our alleged president-elect for now is really pulling a classic Biden move, sniffing my eyeballs there over my shoulder. So yes, we're having fun with it.
Yes, and just to keep everybody on their toes that are watching, especially, he's going to be there the whole show.
Won't leave.
Hairy Legs Biden will be creeping over you the whole time. So just beware.
There's a couple of comments in the Twitch about my mic going out. I wonder if maybe I was blowing it out or something.
Yeah, early in the pre-stream little thing there, it tends to happen when the Skype and the bed music, the background music, don't like to. You guys fight each other sometimes.
Oh,
so
okay.
it comes in and out. But I think we're okay for the show.
Okay, sounds good. Good. Well, any new news going on with you before we just kind of explore what's going on in the world?
Not really. Baby boy poops a lot in the middle of the night.
Yeah, lots of poops.
That's fun.
Some funny pictures. Apparently, you're trying to explain election fraud to him.
Yeah,
and he was very surprised about that.
That picture I will not share publicly because it will be turned into a meme generator.
Yes,
and I don't want
meme waiting to be created.
Yeah, I don't want my 2-week-old son to become a meme generated function for the public. So I'll keep that to myself and to some close friends. But
it's weird how that's a concern now.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been sort of a safety concern putting out pictures of yourself or your children on the internet just because of bad people. But now it's dangerous because they can turn into a meme and become famous without their consent.
Yep.
And it will follow them forever.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
Per usual, we don't want to talk about the elections too much. We'll maybe touch on them adjacent stories to them throughout the show, but we want to just cover a few things at the top just to get it out of the way. And a couple things to point out. Did you watch the Pompeo presser?
I did not watch the Pompeo presser. Keep me posted. What happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Pompeo or William Barr? I'm sorry. I think it's William Barr.
Oh, Barr. I did not watch it either, but I did catch the headlines. But you should tell everybody about it.
Hold on. Now I'm confused here because somebody in the chat tell me because I thought I had it. This is the thing. I'm not paying attention too much. So I lose sight of exactly. Yeah, it's not Barr. It's Pompeo. I'm sorry, I have the wrong story here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sorry about that. But let me try to find a Pompeo thing because basically, Pompeo was asked if there's going to be a smooth transition to the Biden camp there, and his response was, "quote There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration." To which the media and the public just went berserk. They're like, this is crazy. Trump.
Yep.
Takeover tyrant. I mean, it was
a
madness.
Great troll. Whether or not, do you think he meant to say it or did it slip? Was it the truth trying to come out?
I think he meant to say it.
Or does he know something we don't?
I don't know about that, but maybe. But I think he's, he's dealt with the media to some extent, and he knows the agenda of the media, so to speak. So I'm sure he's, he's trying to troll them back. I mean, that's what it is now. The media itself are a bunch of trolls. So what do? You troll back.
What is Pompeo's current office that he holds?
U.S. Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. Yeah. Okay, of course. Yeah. I still kind of have my ideas of Pompeo are still kind of tuned in to when he was the director of the CIA.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot going on there, but we'll get to one of the stories about all the Pentagon changing seats there. In the episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Lots of seats being changed all over the world.
All over the world. Yep. It's it's big musical chairs.
Yeah.
The music is going to stop. But also a quick update. The Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, on the presidential election, he came out, I think it was this morning. He said, with the margin being so close, it will require a full by-hand recount in each county. This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift. So straight up saying that there's going to be a recount, a hand recount in Georgia.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think there's definitely a possibility we're going to be seeing some recounts of several states. I know that's really spooking a lot of people, but not us. That sounds fun. Keep counting, baby.
Yeah.
Give us another Bush v. Gore. Let's drag this out as long as possible.
And I was talking to somebody a little more of a libjo type, and they were saying like, well, you really think they can flip 5 million votes? And I was like, 5 million votes? Are you talking about the popular vote or alleged popular vote count? And he's like, well, yeah, if Trump's going to win, he's going to have to say that 5 million votes were frauds. And it's like, no, sir, that's wrong.
No,
that's not how it works, because
it's super close.
It's a lot closer than people think. And this is just my off the cuff research. So this could be wrong. But according to AP, these are AP's numbers. Biden is or won, quote unquote, Georgia by 14,000 votes. He won Arizona by 11,000 votes. He won Pennsylvania by 18,000 votes and Wisconsin by 20,000 votes. I think Michigan's a little bit more. It's like 100,000. But just putting those states together, 4 states, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, that's less than 80,000 votes. Of course, there can be fraud of 80,000 votes if you want to flip it. So, yeah, I don't think people realize how close this thing is and the amount of censorship. We've mentioned how we're not like super pro-Trump on this channel or on this podcast, but at the same time, we want at least some kind of transparency. We know presidents are selected, not elected.
Yeah.
That being
Well, if
said,
they're going to pretend that the system works, at least convince us that the system works and not have it so blatant that it's being, finagled with.
Right.
Gons, I'm going to tell a quick story. If you can check your Skype chat
Okay.
and send me the info that I need there. I had one thing I didn't set up before the show.
Yep, I'll get that.
And so you can just text that to me or something.
Okay.
But so I did a little check-in with the LibJoe buddy of mine. And for those who don't know, yes, as we do have childhood friends and we part paths at some point in our lives, I do have a friend who is a bona fide LibJoe. And for those who are new, that's a liberal journalist. And so I like to check in with this guy just to see, he's a pretty level-headed fella, and he does his work, does his research, and so it's always fun to kind of compare and contrast the worldviews, how the different sets of information. But it's also fun to kind of hear about the liberal conspiracy theories. And so I was chatting with him yesterday. Just kind of bringing it up, like, oh, what do you think about the funky the Biden graphs, the 138,000 votes that came in overnight? Or what do you think about all these videos floating around of vote counters, filling out ballots right there at the table or destroying them? And of course, from the other side, it's all fake news, all manufactured. Can't trust it. Yeah, nothing. He actually never did. I only realized it later. He never did answer to the Biden jump graph, the overnight jump graph. The famous straight line up.
The eye recovery.
Yes, the eye recovery. And it was interesting to get his take, because the conspiracy theories floating around on the liberal side of all this is that, instead of doing recounts and, straightening out, trying to detect fake ballots or whatever, people are talking about, the liberals are concerned that, the Republicans are coming in and destroying documents. So instead of trying to find fake ballots, they're all hyped up on, the Republicans are coming in and destroying real ballots. We need to to crown King Biden, because before the Republicans have a chance to destroy ballots and get Trump back in.
Interesting.
So, there's conspiracy theories on both sides here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What else did it talk about?
You mentioned how your LibJoe friend did admit to where that money comes from.
It's kind of a fun joke we have with each other. He's a good-hearted guy. And I always like to end our conversations, be like, so here, you can tell me, like, how much are those Soros paychecks? Like, let me know how much you get from your buddy Soros. And he finally laughed and he broke down. He says, actually, yeah, our organization is funded by
Open Society Foundation.
Open Society. Yeah. I'm like, no, you're actually funded by Soros. I was just being a funny jokester. But no, there you go. So that
could possibly be a Basil exposed moment there, hanging out with friends that accept money.
Well, to be fair, he lives very far away. We don't hang out, but I do like to check in because I want to get a broad scope, of what's going on in the world,
right?
And how the other side thinks. That's kind of the main thing. Other side, as if I'm on one side. I get enough of the conservative worldview.
Yeah.
I get it, a constant stream of the conservative worldview, and I'm just trying to be fair to the liberals there. Try to get a level-headed person instead of, the crazy online Twitter shouters, which I do give my friend credit. He is level-headed, but he is funded by Soros. So booyah, gotcha.
Yep. You can call him out on it. And also that could be the end of you.
I don't know.
Both can be true.
I'm going to try to get some Soros funding for the show. That'll be fine, right? That's not a That's not a conflict of interest.
No, not at all. Yeah, they'll be like cool, and then they'll listen to one show, and then they'll listen to the Tyranny Soros Rex episode where we put.
Well, it's the
Soros.
Perfect cover. It's the perfect cover.
We love Soros. We're praying for our enemies.
We call him a dinosaur because he's so. Well, I can't think.
There goes that money train.
I can't think of a positive spin on that.
No, there isn't. There really isn't. I do want to. I thought we had this in the actual episode, but I guess I moved it to the section here. This is the MSNBC.com story: installation of Trump loyalists at Pentagon seen as dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And just briefly here, as of yet, in the subheading of this is MSNBC, just so ridiculous. As of yesterday, several of the Pentagon's top leaders are folks you might not trust to run a lemonade stand.
Cool,
MSNBC. You're so awesome.
So legit.
And I won't read it here, but you guys know the story. Trump fired Defense Secretary Mark Esper, and a whole bunch of people replaced him and also others. And, the way the article frames it, it's like, right-wing conspiracy theorist and
right
people that are part of that peddle the QAnon conspiracy theory. And it's just, they're all just conspiracy theorists.
Which is more than anything is just it's just triggering people.
It is.
Like there's no critical thinking behind labeling people with those types of terms. What it's doing is it's just triggering the programming in all of our minds now. Is when we hear conspiracy theorist, when we hear Q, when we hear anything, that automatically is supposed to, in a lot of cases, put that person in the bad guy category. So you know that who the bad guys are and the good guys are.
Yeah. And again, I like how the MSNBC article concludes with, in case this isn't obvious, the Pentagon is one of the largest and most powerful institutions on the planet. As of yesterday, several of its top leaders are folks you might not trust to run a lemonade stand. If we're fortunate, there won't be a national security crisis between now and Inauguration Day, which is now 70 days away.
That would be fortunate. Well, I got to agree with that.
I mean, this is like...
I would prefer to not have a national security crisis.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
They're prepping for it. But yeah, there you go. That's kind of the atmosphere surrounding the election fraud story. And, there's a lot of people doing great work regarding some of the details of what's going on there. But there's our little 2 cents at the top of the show, which happens to fall on 11/11. Today's 11/11/2020.
It's the 11/11 day. I can't believe I didn't catch that when we were doing the last show.
I know. We didn't pump it.
This is the 11/11 show. So here we go. Congratulations, everybody. It's I don't know why I'm congratulating you, but
you made
just
it
for being alive. You made it this far. It is 11/11 today, which is fun. A lot of people put some sort of significance on that number. I will say for our producers at home, producership was slightly low again this episode, which, that's kind of just been the thing for the past week or so. So we understand it's a weird time. But if you are, we should have put it out last episode, but we can do a special 11/11 donation. For today. So there you go. If that's something that you are passionate about, if 11/11 is an exciting thing for you, you can become an 11/11 producer, and you can do that. If you're watching live, there's the little QR code on the top right of the screen. Just scan that with your smartphone camera. It'll take you to the PayPal, or you can go to canarycryradio.com/support. canarycryradio.com/support. That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. Jump on in there. There's PayPal options. And yes, if you want to become a 11/11 producer, very special time to become a producer. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and do that. And you can just get in there and get her done before we hit the producer segment, and you'll make it on the show. Okie dokie.
I want to mention, a quick story about 11/11.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I met in the flesh a few times, there was
Yes.
one time where we went to go eat, and there was somebody
Yeah.
closely associated to you. I'm not going to say who it was exactly, but he, this person, I'll give away
Okay.
the gender, was there with us, and
How dare you assume the gender?
yeah,
How
and
dare you?
they mentioned that 11/11 means that an angel is watching you.
Yeah,
A very
well,
bold claim.
It is a bold claim. I couldn't quite find that in the in the Bible, but you know, that is the thing. I mean, that's kind of the common understanding. If you Google search 11/11, it's supposed to be some sort of angel number. I'm not quite an angel numerologist, but you know, some people feel that way, and there you go. So it's a great day to become an angel producer.
A light worker. I remember your reaction to it too, which was like that was your reaction to the whole statement and conversation of 11/11 and the angel. It was pretty funny.
I don't know what to say about it, but hey, if that's what gets you through the day, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to jump into the Flippy update?
Oh, disturbing Flippy update.
Yes.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okie dokie, folks. We're going to head into the Flippy update here. If you're new to the show, let me just help you out just a second. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. That's right. If you're watching the live broadcast, you can see a Flippy arm just hanging out over my shoulder there. They're breaking into podcasting.
Working with Joe. Working with Creepy Joe.
I've got Joe on one shoulder and Flippy on the other. And we use talking about Flippy as a proxy conversation to explore how robotics and AI are taking over the world and making their way into our lives and what we can do about it. But this is a story coming from StarTelegram.com. The headline is, "After worker killed by robotic arm, auto parts company must pay $1.5 million, feds say." Ooh, the Fed boys are getting in on this one. The article reads, in 2016, a 20-year-old worker entered an area with several robots and other machinery and was fatally struck by a robotic arm. Now the auto parts company where she worked will pay $1.5 million in fines and restitution, the Department of Justice announced Monday. June LLC, Agent USA, pleaded guilty to a charge related to the 2016 death of Regina Elsie, the Department of Justice said in a news release. Elsie worked at Agent's facility in Cusseta, Alabama, when she and other employees went inside a work area to clear a sensor, according to a 2016 article in Safety News Alert. Oh, whatever. This sounds like a fun outlet. Safety News Alert. Guys, just to take a quick aside, This is the first episode of anything that I've done in the past 10 months without a virtual reality headset on.
Ooh.
And I got to say, it's weird. It's weird to be podcasting without a VR helmet on.
Welcome back to the regular world.
I know. I'm podcasting in the real world. I've been assimilated for 10 months. And so I'm kind of noticing I'm slowing down on my reading a little bit. All right. Anyways, let's get back to it. Quote, on June 18th, 2016, she entered an enclosure called a cell containing several robots and other pieces of machinery, the DOJ news release said. Quote, while she was inside the cell troubleshooting a sensor fault, one of the machines started up and Elsie was struck by a robotic arm. She died of her injuries. The Occupational Safety and Health Act requires all employers to turn off machines during maintenance and servicing in a process called lockout tagout. according to the Department of Justice. Officials said agent did not follow or enforce the procedure for at least 2 years. Supervisors also did not follow the lockout tagout procedure, the news release said. Quote, in the 15 minutes prior to Elsie's fatal injury, in the presence of their supervisors, workers entered cells to troubleshoot machinery without following the lockout tagout no less than 5 times, and the supervisors did not take any action or stop or reprimand them. The Department of Justice said, quote, in 2 other instances, the supervisors themselves entered a cell without following lockout tagout. After agent pleaded guilty to, quote, willful violation of the OSH Act standard requiring the use of lockout tagout procedures, U.S. Magistrate Judge Stephen Michael Doyle ordered the company to pay the maximum fine of $500,000 and $1 million in restitution to Elsie's estate. The company will also have a 3-year probation period where it, quote, must comply with a safety compliance plan overseen by a third-party auditor. Quote, Regina's tragic death was preventable. Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General John D. Brightbill said in the news release, quote, OSH Act standards exist to protect American workers, but employers must actually implement them. When safety policies exist only on paper, tragedies like this occur. So there you go, Gons. You know, so in this case, and I remember reading this when it happened, but it's interesting to see that it actually, you know, they actually did something about it. This was an opportunity. And I kind of want to poke around and look for maybe a legal breakdown of maybe the cases that were made. Mm-hmm. Now, it does say they pleaded guilty, so they probably knew there's no way out of it. But this was an interesting opportunity for the personhood of robots people to get involved. You know, this would have been an interesting court case if the company was like, it wasn't us, it was this robot. It has a mind of its own.
Yeah. Well, especially if the machinery turned on its own, or went against some kind of safety measures that were in place. It says they didn't enforce it. I don't think they have much of an out in this particular situation.
No. Yeah.
But in the future, they can say, hey, we followed lockout, tagout, but the robot just, I don't know, it just had its own thing going.
That would have been a more interesting court case.
Right.
I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's weird. In cases like this, you know, these automatic robots, they're literally kept in cages, and technicians have to like enter the cages to work on the robots. It has a real feel of like a zookeeper. You know, you'll hear a horrible story of like, oh, this zookeeper had to go into the tiger enclosure, and that's when it all went south. That's kind of how it feels to me on sort of a spiritual level with this story.
Well, eventually, all the wall talk and the kids in cages, it's all going to flip to robots in cages. You know, how dare they cage those robots? You know,
they'll be blaming Trump. Trump put robots in cages.
Well, after Trump is gone.
Yeah. They'll say it wasn't Trump. Obama was putting robots in cages way before. It'll be a whole thing.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole thing.
This is the first official murderer flippy.
Yes, as far as I know, as far as the legal the legal side of it, this was the first flippy murder. And I thought it was interesting that all these reports were coming directly from the DOJ.
Yeah,
you know. Usually with statements and quotes about a court case, you'll get it from a representative of the plaintiff, or you'll get it from a court reporter or something. But I think that shows the level of, the complexity in a case like this is that they basically went all the way to the top to get the reporting from this court case.
Well, it's uncharted territory. So I'm sure it comes across the table of lawyers, and they're like, robot died from a robot. We don't know what to do with that. Here, Department of Justice, you deal with it.
I know, it's crazy. They're going to have, it's going to go up to the Supreme Court one of these days, trying to figure out who's at fault for Flippy, the burger flipping robot, having grilled his manager's face or something.
ACB has no idea what's in store for her in the rest of her life. The kind of court cases you think the election fraud is going to be a problem. Wait till the robots.
That's going to be on the questionnaire. There's a lot of hype about how ACB, had to fill out a questionnaire about her election legal experience regarding Bush v. Gore.
Yeah.
So it'll be on the questionnaire. Now, what's been your experience litigating for autonomous robot arms in the Flippy v. Basil case of 2023?
Oh. Predicting cases against yourself already, huh?
It's a precedent setting. Well, I've been to 2023, and yes, there's a very, very prolonged, internationally acclaimed court case that'll be coming in 2023. Keep an eye out for it. Basil versus Flippy. Unfortunately, Flippy is the plaintiff. I'm the defendant in this case. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll really put the podcast on the map, though. That'll really get the publicity out there.
Podcaster being tried for murder of robot arm.
Yeah,
it was an accident. It was a workplace accident.
They're gonna ban all kinds of movies where robots get hurt. It's gonna be a wild world.
Well, that's the thing now. Of course, movies that were made even 20 years ago are considered unacceptable. There's going to be a day where Terminator, the whole Terminator saga, is deemed racist against robots. It represents robots in a negative light, and we can't be representing our robotic brothers and sisters that way.
Yeah. Look how unintelligent our ancestors were, framing robots as just machines.
Okay, we should probably
move on. All these words are going to be used against us later by the robot lawyer. He's going to curate all of this, and it'll just be
fake. Robot overlords. I didn't really say that. It's all deep fakes.
It's all deep fake. All right. Bunch of updates to go through here. So here we go.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33, the Illuminati dog whistle. We're always looking for that number in various headlines, and especially related to the Ronas. This one is from QCtimes.com. It's Quad City Times. Rock Island Milan schools have 33 COVID-19 cases in 10 days. 360 staff and students are quarantined. So there you go. I think this is Vermont, if I'm not mistaken. Rock Island, Milan. But yeah, I mean, again,
33 more cases. They always got to report COVID cases in multiples of 33.
Yeah.
You'll never see a 32 cases.
No. Yeah. It gets stranger, folks, with the whole 33 thing today, because in ArabNews.com, China reports 22 new COVID-19 cases versus 33 a day earlier.
Oh,
what?
Wow. They're really getting in on it.
There's just so many layers to this one. Arab News, 22 new cases is some kind of transition.
I like how the picture is an Asian woman dressed as Minnie Mouse when she's at Disney World.
She's selfie
in Hong Kong, maybe China somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, it's the I don't know. It must represent 33 new COVID cases or 22 new cases as opposed to 33 before.
Right.
Not much to read other than, there's no point to make this headline other than to have 33 in the headline.
When was that posted?
This was posted on, let's see. Well, there's no date here. It should have been, November 10th, 2020.
Okay. Oh, they just missed it. Fact checker bot in the chat said 3322 posted on 11/11.
Oh.
But it wasn't. It was 11/10.
Well,
nice.
Yeah, well, maybe it's the 11/11 on to Western nations. Maybe 11/11 or 11.
What's 33 plus 22?
55.
Booyah.
And 5 plus 5 is 10.
I don't know what that means, but there it is.
Booyah, 10. The number they
but then
skipped from 9/11.
The 33 plus 22, 55 plus 11 is 66.
Oh, yeah, Route 66.
Oh, we did it. We solved the case.
We solved some kind of thing. Also, today, for those of you who don't know, is Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah.
And so thank you
to all our veterans.
Yeah, thanks to all our veterans. And of course, Cron.com. Veterans Day in 2020, quiet parades, somber virtual events. This is like the most depressing article.
Virtual events.
I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a few lines from this article that are very sad. Cemeteries decorated with American flags were silent as well, as many of the traditional ceremonies were canceled. In New York City, a quiet parade of military vehicles with no spectators rolled through Manhattan to maintain the 101-year tradition of veterans marching on Fifth Avenue. What else is there? Oh, in Idaho, 33 residents of the state veterans home in Boise have tested positive, including 9 on Tuesday, said home administrator.
That's crazy.
I know. Because what happens is, the whole point of this article for Veterans Day was, hey, the virus really, caused problems on Veterans Day. We're not able to uphold all of our traditions that we're used to doing in this country. But also in Idaho, 33 residents of the state veterans home have tested positive.
Yeah,
and 6 have died and 4 are hospitalized. So
that's too bad.
More Illuminati dog whistling there. But yeah, that's 2020 for you. And people are saying, I'm seeing a lot of people on social media, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. People have no idea. Yeah, 2021 is just going to get worse. It's going to be worse.
It's bad now.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better, folks. So keep that in mind.
I do want to mention real quick, I'm over on the YouTube stream here. Make sure to hit the like button, everybody. Thank you very much. I see people hitting that. Very important that we get that in the first few minutes of the show for the algorithms to share the show out. Right now we're at 87 likes and 1 dislike. What did we do? Is that Flippy? Did Flippy not like me talking about his murder case?
I'm just picturing the robot arm. Dislike.
Just one robot arm. Yeah, I'm trying to navigate to the dislike button. Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
All
What's
right,
next?
A couple more updates here. Actually, a few more.
Oh, it's the New World Order. It's here.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
While Joe sniffs your eyeball there.
Yeah.
In the meantime, moderndiplomacy.eu, Joe Biden as a restorer of the New World Order.
Oh, great. How can you restore something that's new?
I don't know. But at first I thought, this must be like a right-wing conspiracy, blog or something like that, trying to say that, they're trying to, bring back the New World Order. Nope. This is like a super pro Biden article talking about how Biden is going to restore all kinds of stuff that Trump destroyed.
New World Order. Yeah, of course.
It's pretty crazy. But it's a straight up headline. I do have one paragraph.
What's the outlet?
Moderndiplomacy.eu. So it's an EU outlet.
EU.
So,
of course. Yeah.
It says here, while the enduring global camaraderie of the New World Order may have suffered greatly as a result of Donald Trump's disruptive America First mantra, the incoming political guard appears ready to restore the value tradition of building consensus through networking and negotiating between Washington and its allies, as reckoned by Biden. The notion of America First, pursuant by Trump, nearly turned the country into a pariah sovereign as, quote, America alone. That naked reality could not have been captured more succinctly by anyone than Brian McKeon, the president-elect's advisor on foreign policy, who submits thus, quote, Biden would have a lot of repair work to do as president. End quote. So, yeah, this is, I was pretty appalled. I was like, oh, wow, they're really just going after it.
Yeah.
Not hiding it at all with the whole New World Order speak.
No, it's a whole good thing now.
It is.
And it's part of, yeah, of course, it's been sort of a developing doublespeak, and it's been interesting, at least through our careers following this type of thing. You talk about the New World Order, and usually, I mean, for the past, I don't know, many years, almost a decade, whenever you mention New World Order to a normie or somebody who's not necessarily in the Canary Cry family per se, it's mostly like, oh, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's crazy conspiracy theory.
Right.
That's wild. You've been on too many blogs. But now you mention New World Order, and it's not that doesn't exist. It's like, oh, please give us the New World Order. We want it so badly.
Restore it, President Biden. Hairy Legs Biden.
Yeah.
Restore it for us.
It's wild, man. It's just,
along the same lines here, another headline from Time, this Time magazine, time.com. If Biden is going to rebuild the international order, he'll need a friend like the UK. Like, what?
Oh, okay.
The whole point of the America was to break free from, UK.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Explicitly to separate ourselves from the nonsense in Europe. That was the whole point of America.
Yeah,
we're tired of these European just shenanigans.
That's why it's so weird how people that are, I guess left ideologically and a lot of like your normie folks are all about it. It's just so bizarre. It's like, just from a practical political spectrum, we get that there's a deeper spiritual thing going on here. But just in the context of the right-left paradigm, it's just appalling to me that, people are like, yeah, we got to restore international order. Yeah. It's all, we got to, befriend UK and be more like them. It's unbelievable to me. And we have one more New World Order thing here.
A new world order can emerge.
This is from Zawya.com. UAE calls for global cooperation in a new world order. Dr. Anwar Gargash says the most pressing challenge is to build Arab states that are accountable to their people. And given all the Middle East peace stuff, I thought this was an interesting headline. He says that, or this is Dr. Gargash underlined, that the world must pay attention on evolution towards a, quote, new world order. So, I mean,
nice.
No conspiracy about it. And obviously the UN agenda is part of this. He says, as quote, as a candidate for a non-permanent UN Security Council seat in 2022-23, the UAE plans to use the opportunity to contribute to reinforcing confidence in the multilateral system, which is a nice, pretty way to say we're building the new world order from here.
Right.
Through even apart from the UN. So, yep, there you go. Peace in the Middle East, but not before a new world order can emerge.
Yeah. And, another point to make is, new world order was not a term coined by, conspiracy people.
Yeah.
That was a term coined by the people pushing for the New World Order, which is which is so interesting to see how the development of that doublespeak, because it's basically a conspiracy term, but conspiracy people didn't make it up.
No,
that's in their own words.
And the spiritual origins are very interesting because it comes from Alice Bailey's externalization of the hierarchy, where she channeled an entity named Dejwa. And she has a whole segment in one of her books called How to Build a New World Order. And she has this list of things that needs to happen. And so given that, it's like, okay, the origins are certainly not anything good. It's from, even from the spiritual realm, it seems to be coming from nefarious sources there. So, it's just pretty incredible that we sit here in 2020 and, all these world outlets and leaders are openly not shy at all about the whole thing, about the whole New World Order thing here.
Yeah.
But part of it is the informed public. They're just eating it up. So I think they're just going to keep doing it because, people love it. I remember, must have been 2009. This is before I made the documentary. I was interning at a recording studio, And somebody, we were talking. I was looking into all this stuff and starting to wake up to all this craziness. And I remember talking to a fellow guy who was trying to work there, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready for the New World Order." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean, like to fight it or whatever?" He's like, "No, man, whatever happens, it's just coming together. I'm stoked about it." And it was like, really?
What?
You're totally up for it? Or it was just weird. So a lot of people are, they're just all about it. I don't think they realize what it is, but
It's lack
of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge, man.
I know.
That's
it's
wild.
crazy.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, of course. Well, and that's kind of the point, because of course, any sort of contemporary description of the New World Order by someone in the institution, if you're listening to a politician or you're listening to a Silicon Valley business person, tech mogul, they are talking about the New World Order in all positive terms.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is people just don't have the influence of somebody who has another view of it than, Jack Dorsey or somebody at the IMF or something like that.
Yeah. Especially with the Great Reset. We must reset the economy of the world.
Do you need more conspiracy theorist friends, man?
I know. Well, I think we talk about the ones that aren't just because they stick out more when we have conversations with them. But anyway, we got a couple more updates.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This is from vtdigger.org. State to begin surveillance testing for coronavirus in K through 12 schools. And this is in Vermont, where the COVID-19 case counts continue to climb steadily. State officials announced Tuesday they are preparing to begin large-scale regular surveillance testing in the state's K through 12.
Surveillance testing?
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. Is this sewer surveillance?
I don't know, but it's the staff. It's not the students yet.
Okay.
They plan to do the students, but here's what it says. Quote, to be clear, testing of school personnel is a public health surveillance strategy. Health Commissioner Mark Levine said during the governor's twice-weekly press conference, the testing will continue indefinitely. Indefinitely.
Great. Yeah, great.
Quote, it's not meant to be a, let's just see what the impact of Thanksgiving is. This is a strategy that will persevere until we're all vaccinated and doing well and enjoying our lives like they used to be.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, come on,
This is
man.
insulting.
I know.
That is, there you go. In black and white, they're admitting it right there. We're never going to stop surveilling you.
Yeah.
We're never going to stop.
Until you're vaccinated so that everybody can be happy again.
Yeah,
it's out of control, man.
And, as if they're going to stop doing it even after the vaccination.
Oh, it's probably going to up the whole thing.
Yeah.
It says the state estimates 25,000 people could be tested through the K through 12 surveillance program. The tests will be offered to all public schools and a small number of private schools, according to Agency of Education spokesperson Ted Fisher. And here's the other part of it. The tests will be self-administered PCR tests. Self-administered PCR tests.
That just shows that it's nonsense.
It's garbage. And by the way,
garbage.
If that's the case, I'll be like,
yeah, I'll self-administer
one
my
cycle,
PCR test.
One cycle for my test.
Well, I'm sure what they're doing is just letting you stick the swab up your own nose, but. I don't know. Are they watching them do it? What is even the point of doing self-administration?
I don't know, but the whole thing sounds totalitarian. You're talking about surveillance, but then also self-administered PCR tests.
Well, that's what they love is the self-surveillance.
Yeah.
They want us to be watching ourselves and watching each other so the work is easier on them.
It's the virtual panopticon. We police ourselves because the authorities can take any one of us down at any point. That's the whole idea.
Wow. Where was this?
Vermont.
Vermont.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Haven't heard much about Vermont lately.
I hear it's a very beautiful state.
That's all I hear.
That's all I hear too.
That's all I ever hear about Vermont.
Maybe they're like, we really should up the fear to get some more people to travel
everybody
out here.
Keeps coming here because they hear how beautiful it is. Tell them they got to swab their own brains so they don't come.
One more update before we get into full stories here, and it is, once again, we got a lot of surveillance stories today.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This is a pretty important story. Again, this is one of those things that I don't think people are talking about because everyone's distracted with the elections.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Nat Law Review, the National Law Review.com. Zoom settles with the FTC on video surveillance and encryption overstatement. So the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, conducted an investigation into Zoom video communications, their privacy and security practices, and announced a settlement agreement on November 9th, 2020. As part of the agreement, Zoom agreed to establish and implement a comprehensive security program and a prohibition on privacy and security misrepresentations. So, and this is pretty crazy. I remember hearing about it a little bit, but again, not talked about a whole lot. So, as you know, when everything happened with the Ronas and everything shut down, Zoom was pushed out as like everybody's favorite, go-to VoIP, voice over IP
took
application.
Over internet phone calls.
Yeah, everything.
Poor Skype. Never got the PR.
Maybe that's why Bill Gates was really pushing the whole Rona thing. He wanted more people to use Skype. That's the big conspiracy. Because it's Microsoft,
as much
right?
sense as anything else.
I know. The FTC alleges that Zoom's claim that its video calls were protected by end-to-end encryption was, quote, deceptive and unfair practices that undermined the security of its users. Zoom, according to its website and security white paper, represented that meetings that utilized computer audio was secured with end-to-end encryption, at least according to Zoom's website. However, The Intercept reported that the encryption that Zoom uses to protect meetings was actually transport encryption, which allowed Zoom service itself to access the unencrypted video and audio content of Zoom meetings. Mm-hmm. In the complaint, the FTC claimed that Zoom's security practices were lacking, including for some data located on servers in China.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Further, while Zoom claimed that meeting data was being safeguarded in secure cloud storage, the FTC found that recorded meetings were being kept unencrypted on Zoom servers for up to 60 days before being transferred. So there you go. All those people that use Zoom during the lockdowns,
all of your meetings were stored in China.
Yeah, well, not all. They say some data. But Zoom themselves were holding it for at least 60 days before they moved it over to alleged encrypted, end-to-end encrypted servers. So,
yeah,
wow.
Well, which shouldn't come as a surprise because, and this is one thing, encryption has become sort of the just a word to throw out there.
Yeah.
You can put any sort of implementation of encryption on a piece of software and you can just say encrypted and people assume what you're saying is that, yeah, all your data is encrypted and protected from end to end and it's totally safe. Use our service. But it's more of like a selling talking point. Even if it's not implemented in any safe sort of way, which you see all the time with a lot of different tech products that come out. It was another thing with, when Facebook started talking about how they're going to encrypt all your messages. Well, they're kind of doing it, but they're, of course, allowing themselves to harvest all your messages for data. Right. But, it was a big deal for Zoom. You got humongous companies all over the country relying on Zoom to do business, and with the misunderstanding, they're thinking that it's safe and Zoom is all up to snuff. And here you go, right? It not only is it not encrypted, but they're storing some of it in China. So, sorry, American economy.
Yeah, how much information does China have? Even more so now. On companies and families and all kinds of stuff. It is out of control.
Again, when it comes to China and data, like it's not just you don't just say China just to be spooky or anything. I mean, data is a commodity. It's a nationally coveted commodity, and when you're sending the data from, especially, I mean, with all the corporate espionage and industrial espionage that happens over in China, them, stealing intellectual property from American companies, to be, if you were a company that relied on Zoom for your workers to work from home, and you're an American company with perhaps some sensitive, proprietary information being shared on these meetings, that is a huge betrayal of trust for a Zoom to catch. I mean, I don't care if Zoom is sending whatever, when I Zoom call my cats or something, but if you're a larger American corporation with proprietary information being communicated, you're pretty mad right now, probably. And if you're not paying attention. And that's
I'm sure most people aren't paying attention. I'm sure as we speak, we have large companies going, oh, hold on, let me accept you into this Zoom call, this private Zoom call.
Let me accept you.
Yeah. So anyway, those are all the updates. I know it's a good handful, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that was a nice little handful of updates there.
Yeah. But along those same lines, one of our main stories here is about surveillance.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
Were you able to pull this up, Basil?
No, I have some secret ad blocker that I cannot turn off, and so it won't let me read this article.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and do it here, but this is azdailysun.com. Coconino County encourages COVID-19 syndromic surveillance.
Oh, gosh.
That's a new phrase for everybody.
I don't even know what that means, but I don't like it.
Syndromic surveillance. And Coconino is in Arizona. Coconino County Health and Human Services is working to get local hospitals to share more information about potential COVID-19 patients in order to better track the disease's prevalence in the community. Now, I'm already disturbed by that. Yeah. Share more information about potential COVID-19 patients. Who gets to determine that? Although hospitals...
We're all potential patients.
Everyone's potential, yeah.
So this is another way of saying we're watching all of you.
Yeah. Although hospitals are required to report their number of confirmed COVID-19 patients, County epidemiologist Matt Maurer said the goal is to get more hospitals to participate in a voluntary program that tracks COVID-19 symptoms in patients as they visit emergency departments and urgent and ambulatory care centers. At both the county and state levels, not all hospitals are sharing this information, and only a limited number of urgent care clinics are participating as part of a pilot project, the Arizona Department of Health Services ADHS reports, which ADHS sounds like ADHD. I kept messing it up when I was reading it earlier. But anyway, these records of patient symptoms are used to determine the percent of COVID-like illness, CLI.
COVID-like illness.
Yeah, it's COVID-like illness among total hospital visits, one of the benchmarks set by ADHS for the reopening of businesses and schools. I mean, come on, man. According to the latest report, using data from the last week of October, Coconino County's CLI is 2.7%, while statewide CLI this week is 5.1% for emergency departments and 3.6% for inpatient settings. A CLI percent of less than 5% is considered minimal community transmission, while the moderate category includes up to 10%. The process for calculating CLI is called syndromic surveillance and is organized by the National Syndromic Surveillance Program, NSSP. I had no idea that such a program existed. A collaboration between the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, local and state health departments, and other federal, academic, and private partners. More than 5,000 healthcare facilities from 47 states contribute to this program every day, sharing data from about 73% of the nation's emergency department visits, according to a CDC description of the program. Quote, COVID-like illness has really brought syndromic surveillance onto the map. Very convenient, said Maurer.
Syndromic.
Who explains the process has previously been used during events such as heat waves or wildfires to track how many people have symptoms of heat or smoke-related illnesses in real time instead of waiting for later reports. CDC further explained the process can characterize and allow for a response to situations including foodborne outbreaks, ding, 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 I should probably ding that, and drug overdoses within the community. To participate in NSSP, medical facilities send data on chief complaint, diagnosis, patient characteristics, and location to state and local health departments or to health information exchanges, CDC reports. Any possible patient identification is removed from the data before being submitted, and the information is available for analysis within 24 hours of the patient's visit. So at least they're suggesting that there's no direct, way to figure out who exactly has this, but that's only one step removed because all these health outlets have that information. I'm sure if the CDC wanted to dig in, they could. Maurer said, go ahead.
Oh, no, continue.
Okay. Maurer said much of the challenge in having hospitals report this data is aligning the software programs used by hospitals and ADHS to allow data to be shared between the two. Banner Health Page Hospital is currently participating in the program, while Flagstaff Medical Center and Tuba City Regional Healthcare are both working toward syndromic surveillance reporting. Quote, "We're always working with the hospitals to try to onboard more people into that system. With COVID-like illness being a benchmark, it's really shown the importance of having that ability on that system," Maurer said. Coconino reported an additional 238 COVID-19 cases in its Monday report, which includes all cases added Friday through Sunday, bringing the county's total case number to 5,803. Of those, 700 were admitted to the hospital, and an estimated 4,345 have recovered. Last week saw a 35% increase in cases, setting a record, which I get really annoyed when I see setting a record, because this is like a new thing, supposedly, right? So like every time the number goes up, every time they add numbers, it's going to go up. It's going to be a record for total number of new cases registered throughout the week at 405, surpassing the previous record breaking week ending in October 24th by 39 cases. Maurer said areas of particular concern include Flagstaff, Page, and tribal communities, which have all been seeing increased cases over the last month. Flagstaff has had more than 3,400 total cases as of Monday, and according to Northern Arizona Healthcare, there were 18 positive COVID-19 patients at Flagstaff Medical Center and 22, another 22, with COVID-19 test results pending. So there you go. An article you're probably not going to hear from a lot of news outlets out there because it's in a small town of Coconino County. But yeah, we get a glimpse into this nationwide surveillance program, the syndromic surveillance program, where health authorities are basically being encouraged to share COVID-like symptoms or track voluntary COVID-like symptoms in patients. The CLI?
Yeah, COVID-like in
illness.
Yeah.
Yeah, to determine the percent of COVID-like illness.
I don't like how they're. What is this blurring of the line between COVID-like illness and why don't just call it COVID? So is this not a testing thing? This is a reporting thing?
This is a reporting thing. Yeah, this is
they're not actually testing for COVID. They're just saying if someone has a COVID-like symptom.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, the list of COVID symptoms are long and sort of arbitrary in a lot of cases. I mean, anything from a headache or, of course, a scratchy throat or something like that, a little cough. Those are all COVID-like symptoms. This is it. It's kind of just like blatant. I don't even want to necessarily call it false reporting. It's just like not reliable at all.
Yeah. Yeah. The other part of it, the CDC came out and said they're not tracking the regular flu this year, right? The regular influenza. And so
I don't remember them saying that. I know that the reports had it down like 95% or something.
I'm pretty sure the CDC came out and said they're not tracking influenza, which is why? Because of COVID-19. That was their logic.
What are we paying you for? They're just not tracking flu,
Well,
which means
yeah.
anything that looks like a flu, they're calling COVID.
That's what I'm saying. And so this story, given that premise, is extra disturbing because now it's all moving towards anything that has a symptom that looks like it. We're going to track and we're going to surveil based on syndrome, not actual test results.
Yeah. Based on symptom and calling it a CLI, which is a great little sneaky way to make people think you're talking about COVID when you really don't know. It's a COVID-like illness. We don't need testing. We'll just, hey, you got a headache? Okay. You got a COVID-like illness.
Yeah. This is, I'm trying to look for that article or a article that mentions how they're not tracking the regular flu this year. I think it was just like a little note that the CDC had mentioned.
I would like to hear a good explanation as to why the flu numbers are what they are. Because the only thing that any mainstream person or any normie will say is like, oh, because everybody's wearing masks, so 98% of the flu disappeared because we're wearing masks.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, if that's the case, why is COVID not disappearing?
COVID doesn't
make any sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. People don't really think about these things critically. But yeah, there you go. I mean, this is another just for our audience who are very well informed. We're just trying to stay ahead of the curve here because these types of issues and topics and buzzwords will probably make their way into the national consciousness.
This is an important one because this is, of course, they're just testing it in a little Coconino County down there in Arizona. That's how they do it. They test it in these little spots. And then once they figure out that they can pretty much put any number of CLI, COVID-like illnesses on the list as possible, you'll see this more and more and more. This is just the beginning with this syndromic tracking thing, syndromic surveillance. So keep an eye on it. And remember, CLIs are not COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So
all right.
real quick. I found there's a screenshot here. Again, I'm not going to be able to, maybe I can look for the direct source here later, but it says, this is the cdc.gov/flu/weekly/ blah, blah, blah. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, this system will suspend data collection for the 2020-2021 influenza season. Data from previous season are available on FluView Interactive. So, suspending data collection for the 2020-2021 influenza season, but they're collecting this
Well, and
influenza.
The flu has a similar at this point with at this point in the process of the pandemic, the flu has a similar mortality rate as COVID-19 does. Why would you track COVID-19 but not its similarly deadly influenza? Maybe because you're just counting them all at the same thing. I mean, that's really the only thing that makes sense.
It's really nefarious when you start looking at this in that light, because it's it's one thing for this whole syndromic surveillance thing to be like, all right, some small county working on it, but no, this is like CDC. This is a CDC operation. Yeah, so this is really. I think it explains why they even said that. They're like, oh. We're not going to track it, but we're going to get around it by making all of you continue to fear the Ronas. Yeah. And that's really the point here.
Fear is freedom. All right. You want to talk about some Chinese news?
Welcome to Chinese News!
Woo! That's right, folks. Well, we're going to keep up with some Chinese news here because there's some interesting developments. Of course, we want to give a shout out to our Hong Kong listeners, of which there are 0 because we're banned in China. But if you are somehow receiving this message, just know that we're thinking about you. This is coming from NewYorkTimes.com, so it's true. The article is titled, China Targets Hong Kong's Lawmakers as it Squelches Dissent. The article reads like this. Hong Kong. China moved on Wednesday to quash one of the last vestiges of democracy and dissent in Hong Kong, forcing the ouster of 4 pro-democracy lawmakers from their elected offices in a purge that prompted the rest of the opposition to vow to resign en masse. The departure will reshape the city's political landscape, which has been upended since China imposed a sweeping national security law in Hong Kong this summer that gave the authorities broad powers to crack down on resistance. They mark the intensification of a campaign that has damaged Hong Kong's global reputation as a bastion for freedom of speech and rule of law. The targeting of the democratically elected lawmakers comes at a time when the United States, which has recently protested China's treatment of Hong Kong and imposed sanctions, is distracted by its own struggles over the American presidential election. Notice how this is happening during the election, where Trump can't come out and punish China for pulling a move like this. Especially since now we're supposed to be defending China. I can't believe it, Gons. With everything that we know going on in China, I mean, the destruction of its last little democracy, the imprisonment of religious people, the Uyghur Muslims, not just imprisonment, but work camps and re-education and harvesting their hair and their organs, which is no longer conspiracy theory. These are confirmed things that the Chinese government is doing. There are still people who defend China, and I cannot believe it. Just normal, everyday people. It usually comes up in the TikTok conversation, because every time I hear somebody's on TikTok, I'm like, oh, so you just like China, snooping around on your phone. They go, what's so bad about China? And this is a real thing that happened, and it made me sad. And I think this person was trolling me, but it's, you never know. But it was a thing about TikTok, and I made a comment. Oh, you're sending all your data to China. I'm like, oh, it's just my pictures. I'm like, no, it's everything on your phone, but it's okay. We know this. Here's a WAPO article, since you love the Washington Post so much. You gotta speak to them in their own language, Gons.
Yeah, I know.
And then it got into like, well, what's so bad about China? China gets such a bad rap. And I took a deep breath and I said, well, there is the, imprisoning people for their religious beliefs and harvesting their hair and their organs. And again, I'll send them some sort of mainstream article so they'll believe it. And the response was, yeah, well, America's done some pretty bad things too. What? How is that your response to this? How is America's done bad things too makes everything China is doing A-okay.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why one would say that, but
because you are uneducated and uneducated and over-socialized.
Over-socialized, yes. That's really the key there, because by proxy, by suggesting that you are being anti-American in a sense, and you're right. And not, I mean, it's true. America has done some horrific things all over the world. Yeah. And that's not a lie. That is a true statement. But there's a difference with certain rights in this country that are very clearly different from China.
Oh my gosh, it's night and day.
Yeah, it's night and day.
Anyways, let's get into this here. I didn't mean to get us off track there.
Okay.
In Hong Kong in recent months, the Beijing-backed authorities have arrested pro-democracy leaders and activists as they resolve to bring Hong Kong to heel and put an end to the protests that engulfed the semi-autonomous Chinese territory for much of last year. Beijing and its supporters have also raised pressure on Hong Kong's independent court system and on news outlets that strike a defiant tone. Their target on Wednesday was Hong Kong's legislature, the Legislative Council, which has stood as a symbol of the one country, two systems legal framework designed to preserve democratic freedoms in the former British colony after it returned to Chinese rule. The legislature has proved an irritant for Beijing. I would love to be considered an irritant for Beijing.
I think
someday.
We are by proxy.
I think we might be an irritant for Beijing. Yeah. The legislature has proved an irritant for Beijing as a group of pro-democracy lawmakers have loudly argued that China's campaign threatens to erode Hong Kong's status as a global open city. Beijing officials moved on Wednesday to silence those voices, granting broad new powers that allow the Hong Kong government to remove lawmakers from office who do not show clear loyalty to China. They just have the it allows the Hong Kong government, which is its own little kind of semi-autonomous government, as was stated before, to remove lawmakers from office. Now, these are democratically elected lawmakers that the people of Hong Kong have chosen, and now the government can just remove them. Can you imagine if that's how the United States worked? What kind of crazy dystopian shades of gray we would be living in?
I mean, it's inching towards that. That's what we're seeing already with president's tweets with, big old labels saying this is not correct.
Well, if Twitter had its way, they'll just be voting out, they could just remove lawmakers just by how many hashtags are trending.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to remove lawmakers from office that do, especially with this case, who do not show clear loyalty to China.
Yeah.
So if you're not loyal to China,
which
I mean, can you imagine if there were legislators in America who did not show loyalty to America? We would, I mean, in the what is the word? The sort of the shallow sense. This super, oh man, my brain's not working now. Great.
That's Joe.
There's a lot
really, his nose is getting deeper into
sniffing the thoughts right out of my ears. Well, first of all, it's a definition. If you don't show clear loyalty to China, well, what does it mean
to
not show clear loyalty to America? I think some people would say AOC might show some non-loyalty to America.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of lawmakers, you talk bad about America as clear, you do not show clear loyalty. We can just remove you. Moving on. Within minutes of Beijing's announcement, Hong Kong officials ejected, within minutes of the announcement,
they moved
Hong
quick
Kong
over
officials ejected the 4 lawmakers, Dennis Kwok Ka-ki, Kenneth Leung, and Alvin Young, hours after their removal from office. And this is when things get crazy, Guns. The remaining 15 members of their bloc said they were stepping down in solidarity. So they remove 4 pro-democracy lawmakers, and then 15 more pro-democracy lawmakers quit.
Yeah.
I don't see how this is helpful.
No, it's almost a part of it is a protest.
Sketchy.
Well, it's a protest on one hand, but also it's like, okay, so you're not going to fight?
I don't think it is. See, I think that.
So you think this is a controlled?
PR. Yeah, let me read another thing here, and then we can really get into it. Quote, "Together we stand," lawmakers in the pro-democracy camp chanted as they held hands in a conference room in the Legislative Council building. One of the legislators, Wu Chi-wei, told reporters that they would tender their resignation in protest on Thursday. Quote, "Under authoritarianism, the road to democracy will be extremely long and arduous, but we will absolutely not be defeated by its pressure," Mr. Wu said. "We will inevitably find new paths." The lawmaker said that they believe the legislature is now so compromised by the government's power to stamp out opposition that they must work outside the system.
Wow.
Quote, "Many people will consider today a dark day. It is hard for me to say it isn't," said Kwok Ka-ki, one of the 4. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a foolish.
Racist.
I don't know how to do it. Kwok Ka-ki, one of the 4 lawmakers who was removed, quote, "As long as our resolve to fight for freedom, equality, and justice remains unchanged, one day we will see the return of the core values we cherish." This is very sanguine attitude there. The Hong Kong government appeared to welcome the resignations. No kidding, which will give it much freer rein to pursue its agenda. Carrie Lam, Hong Kong's chief executive, dismissed suggestions that the absence of the opposition lawmakers would tarnish the legislature if it pushed through policies favored by Beijing supporters. So, okay, now we can kind of lay out the whole thing. They kicked out 4 pro-democracy lawmakers, 15 more quit, and they're talking about how it'll be better for them to change the system from outside of it than inside of it. Okay, if you say so. I don't know if this was voluntary
It almost feels like they chose life over some kind of like persecution from the government.
Totally. It sounds like they were all in a group message, and Carrie Lam, who's the chief executive of Hong Kong, sent a little mass text message, say, hey, if you're pro-democracy, I'll give you a chance here. We're quitting these 4. The rest of you can resign, and you can call it a protest or whatever you want. But if you don't do it,
you disappear.
Stay out of small aircraft and hot tubs and, away from ledges on tall buildings, because one way or another you will be out. But it also kind of sounds like, okay, these guys are kind of talking. I mean, what is the way to change the government from outside? A revolution or a war or like some sort of black market activity.
How are they even going to leave the country at this point? It would probably be hard for them to do.
I don't even think it's possible.
Yeah. So what are they talking about? Blockchain. Blockchain.
Blockchain. What this really is a complete takeover of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I mean, they got rid of all the opposition lawmakers. It is really a sad moment for Hong Kong over there.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more in the article. We don't have to go through all of it. It's a lot.
Did you
some
have
of the history.
Something specific you wanted to hit?
Not really. I don't think I highlighted anything here. The one thing I will mention, sort of stepping back, is this is very interesting because there's a section. I highlighted one thing while you were reading. They have challenged Hong Kong's independent court system and put pressure on news outlets that strike a defiant tone. The New York Times has been very friendly to China. So it's interesting that they would report this. It's almost like I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're scathing against China here. It's almost like when they report this story, they're like, we're just neutral. We are reporting the thing that happened.
Of course.
It's very suspicious.
They don't want to take sides on their China. Was the New York... Wait. Where is this from? Where is this article from? It's the New York Times.
Yeah.
Are they on the list of Chinese-owned news outlets?
I thought so.
I don't have that list right in front of me. I think the New York Times has some sort of minority stakeholder of Chinese or of CCP members, but don't quote me on that. But if that's the case, yeah, of course they would be voluntarily stepping down from their lawmaker position.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Anyways, I don't know. We used to have a Hong Konger or two who would listen to the show as a producer. Actually, they sent us a few emails, but we have not heard from them in a while, which I'm assuming is not by accident.
Yeah, there's nothing. Well, all the search engines are useless on a quick search. You're going to have to do some digging to find some of that information. If somebody in the chat has it, then, let us know.
Yeah.
There is a Federalist.com article that is headlined, a rundown of major U.S. corporate media's business ties to China. And let me see what it says about the New York Times. Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim owns 17.4% of the New York Times through company Class A shares. Carlos
Slim.
Yeah.
Cool.
Slim has regularly conducted business with Chinese companies with overt ties to the CCP. In 2017, Slim's Giant Motors joined ventures with China's JAC Motors and began manufacturing cars in Mexico to sell in the Latin American market. Slim's company, America Movil, is teaming up with CCC telecommunication giant Huawei Technologies to pitch 5G. So, yeah, the guy who has 17.4% of the New York Times through Class A shares is very much in bed with the CCP. So that's enough to already have a pretty good stronghold of the influence.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a known influencing tactic because, of course, at least in the old world, things are changing now and during this new world order where China's allowed to just buy whatever American company they want. But it used to be a little bit more strict. I mean, during the Obama era, they opened it up a little bit, but that's how you do it. You find an intermediary
shareholder,
international businessman who it doesn't have direct affiliation with the CCP.
Yeah.
But you line his pockets enough, he'll do whatever you want.
Well, and that's the one, thing with the Trump administration that I think a lot of basic, hardworking, middle-class Americans liked about him was that Trump was saying, hey, we can't let this continue to happen. And it's a total takeover. It had already taken place, but with the Obama administration, it was literally open doors. Like, come on in, take all the company's shares and influence our media and our news and everything. And that's part of the Smith-Munn Modernization Act, making propaganda legal in this country in a sense. And so all these news outlets don't have to share their partisan bias. They can just pretend like they're objective, but they're not. Even Fox News, for those of you who are, in that paradigm. But yeah, this is that's why I wanted to take this New York Times article and share it with you all, because the New York Times, reporting on this is almost like it's really bad, with their fingers crossed behind their back, like like fist pump. So. I don't know. This is really troubling. We saw this come in. This is like a year in the works of Hong Kong being taken down. 2 years. And yeah, I mean, now that the lawmakers are stepping down, this is free reign for Beijing to come in and take it all. Hopefully the people in Hong Kong that could get out did while they still can. But we'll see. I'm
just cruising the rest of the article here, and it's all, they're going a very long way to try to convince you that even though the pro-democracy lawmakers are gone, the Chinese Communist Party loyalists are promising to do a great job, and we won't take advantage. We promise not to take advantage of the fact we have no opposition.
Oh my God.
This is false.
That is just ridiculous. There's the propaganda. It's buried in the second half of the article, it seems.
It is. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to find for a quick little synopsis, but of course they get all flowery and try to, make it all confusing. But this is basically, just don't worry. Everything will be fine. We don't need those pro-democracy lawmakers to have a good time.
You will all be happy under our totalitarian regime.
There's no point in doing this job if you can't do it properly. Okay. Anyways, there you go. Okay. We should probably thank some producers. What do you say?
Do it.
Whee! Farewell to about 20% of you. We've loved having you here, but we know that you got to take off during the break. But if you've got a strong will and a hearty spirit, you should stick around, because after the break, we're going to be talking about a new study that has successfully manipulated memories, which is connected to the transhumanism brain-machine interface conversation we've been having for a few years. A big update on that. As also, we'll be getting into the cyborg cockroach armies. You're going to need it.
Government sponsored.
Yes, the government-sponsored cyborg cockroach armies. If that doesn't sound interesting, I don't know what will keep you through the show. I just don't know. I've lost all contact with reasonable nature. Here we go. Next, then we're going to be talking about, that's right, the Madmax CERN collaboration.
What?
You're not going to want to miss it. Yes, it's a good time, Gons. You're going to love it. But first, we want to thank some of our producers, because it really is the producers that keep the show going. And those of you who are new, Let me tell you what I'm talking about. When I talk about producers, you might notice that we did not spend 10 minutes at the beginning of the show reading advertisements in order to keep this show going. And you'll notice we won't read any other advertisements during this show. And that's not because we don't have the opportunity. Of course, nowadays, especially, as a podcaster, a content producer, quite easy to get an advertising deal, which has been one of the major changes during our career of doing this. But here's the thing. We decided a while back that advertising is not for us. And let me tell you why. In fact, we had another update today that we have been released, Gons. We've been released from a podcast network because they are unable to post our episodes without advertising. And so we have been released. There may be a few thousand people who don't hear the show today because we are no longer on that network. And that's okay. We hold no ill will. Because we understand a lot of podcasting networks are now forcing podcasts to put advertising at the beginning of the show because, who wants podcasters to make their own decisions anyways? That's crazy. But so we say farewell to that. Thank you. It was a great ride being on that network, but we are no longer there. But here's the thing, folks. Advertising is we decided long ago that it was not for us because here's why. Advertising is tied up in the sort of evil conglomeration of big data, privacy concerns, mind control. I mean, advertising on a very basic level is mind control. And it's a system where, the advertisers put a value on a piece of media that is created, which is, already kind of whack. The listeners, the people benefiting from the media should decide its value, not some corporation who gauges it off of how much underwear they can sell. But also, advertisers, they incentivize creators like Gons and I to consider our dear listeners, that's you, as not, vivid, living human beings with lives and minds of their own, but as commodities, as cattle to be loaded up on trucks and sent off to corporations for our own personal gain. That's right. They motivate creators like Gons and I to package and sell our listeners. And that just didn't seem right to us. It didn't sit well, and we make a lot less money, but that's okay. At least we can sleep at night, and I mean that earnestly. I know I say it every time, but we still feel good about the decision to not advertise on the show. Instead, we are on the value for value model. That's right, and we had got an email, and I do want to just for the sake of sakes, I just want to say this model was inspired by John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry over at the No Agenda Show. They've been doing it for years, and we finally pulled the trigger and started doing it, and we haven't looked back since. And basically, the value for value model is we do the show, we put it out for free, we do it often, and we like to think we do a pretty good job. And if you get any value out of the show, it is your opportunity to put some value back in. And that means there's a little bit more responsibility on the side of the listener. But you know what? At this point, we all need to kind of start taking responsibility for our own news, our own media, because if we don't, then either the government or big data or international corporations, they're going to be the ones controlling what has value in this world. So when somebody decides to put value back into this system, we call them producers. Why? Because they are producers. This is the real world. This isn't just generous donations or charity to a couple of young punks that we want to support. This is a real model to keep honesty in the media that you consume. Honesty and authenticity without the interference from global corporations. And it's our producers that make that happen for you. And so we want to thank them. Now, the first and easiest way to become a producer is to head to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. There's a bunch of levels and rewards and stuff there. You know how Patreon works. Luckily, we did not get kicked off of Patreon. We are there still, which is wonderful. And we have one new producer over on Patreon. Gons, are you ready to thank them?
Yeah, hold on. I'm just having fun with your image with Joe in the background there.
Oh, good. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. That did actually work, Gons. We've retained more listeners than we usually do on the break. You might, just leave that nice and big for people to interact with.
Okay.
For those who are just listening, yes, the video is now just a giant picture of me getting sniffed by Joe Biden. Okay, let's thank our one Patreon producer. Gons, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, thank you to big old wonderful Malik for becoming a Patreon producer. Producer Malik.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. That's it. We have no other Patreon producers on either of the Patreons. But here's the thing, and I'm actually happy that this is the case. If you don't like Patreon, that's okay. A lot of people don't like Patreon. We have mixed feelings, but you can head to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a wonderful place where you can become a producer of the show. You've got PayPal options. You can come in with a monthly producership, or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of other fun stuff that you can get involved with there. And Gons, who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get rid of the floating basil head from.
Gons is having too much fun.
We would like to start off by thanking producer Michael. Thank you, producer Michael.
Thank you very much, producer Michael.
I believe he is the executive producer of this episode as of right now. So
very generous. Thank you very much, Michael.
He said, "Shalom, brothers. Keep up the great work Yah has prepared for you. Blessings from Montana." Very nice, Montana.
Great.
Thank you, producer Michael. Next, we have
thank you.
Producer Leak.
Thank you, producer Leak.
Don't leak, producer Leak.
Nice.
Next up, producer Steven. Thank you, producer Steven.
Thank you very much, producer Steven. And
or Stefan,
producer
maybe?
Steven.
I think it's
Stefan,
Steven.
maybe? Yeah, you're right. Here's a note for producers. PayPal should give you a little section where you can leave us a comment. Feel free to leave us whatever name or pronunciation you would like us to call you on the show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're kind of just winging it.
Yep.
But thank you, producer Steven or producer Stefan, coming in with $33.33. There we go. Taking it back.
Yeah, and we do respect your anonymity as much as possible here, so we don't want to
try.
We don't want to dox our producers here. Next up, a couple people that answered the call for the 1111 that we threw out there at the top of the show. Producer Laura, thank you, producer Laura, coming in with 1111 on 1111. Your special producer.
Our angel producers.
Yes, and also producer Nicole. Thank you, producer Nicole.
Thank you very much, producer Nicole.
Coming in with 1111. And next up, we have producer Finn.
Thank you, producer Finn. And producer Finn came in with the Trump tax donation mixed with an 1111 donation. It was 7511.
Yeah, very
Thank
nice,
you
very generous.
much.
And I think this is the last one. Yep, I think so. Producer Smiley.
Thank you very much, producer Smiley.
And he comes in at $33 as well. So thank you for that. And he said, "Great show, lads. Keep up the good work. God bless."
Thank you very much, producer Smiley.
Producer Smiley. No crypto today. We do have, this is a quasi jingle-ish. Incarnate Unlimited.
Song.
Yeah, it's a song. Incarnate Unlimited sent in a track that I think he was part of in an old band, and it was in reference to when we were talking about the moon, I believe. So we'll play a few seconds of that if I can pull it up here. Give me one moment. I lost the file. Having issues with that recently, with files disappearing on the computer as I try to
hackers,
kill
bro.
I know the hackers. We really got to do something about those Chinese hackers. Here's a few seconds of the track called Full Moon. Here we go. Some good old metal.
Woo!
Got some vocals.
Oh, it's heavy.
It's heavy. Keys. There you go. Thank you very much. Incarnate Unlimited. Full Moon is the name of the track. And
Full Moon.
Yeah, I think it was in reference to the NASA announcement that their big announcement that they came out with, which was old news. Typical NASA. Never a straight answer, and quite literally in that case. So we do welcome your jingles here and songs. We prefer show specific songs, songs that were written for the show, or jingles that are specific to topics we talk about. And it can be clips, short ISOs and stuff from movies or TV shows that summarize things we talk about. A lot of what we already have are, just 1 second, 2 second, 3 second clips of, things from movies or things from anything out there, any kind of media that, again, that summarize topics we talk about. For example, Normies. Oh, not that one. This one. Normies. Normies. That one. That's from an old movie there that, we reference normies all the time. Stuff like that. We're always looking for things of that nature. But in this case, thank you, Incarnate Unlimited, great producer of the show. So we wanted to include that for you. But we also have some art to share.
One art, please.
And I didn't check an update to see if we had any more art come in.
We do have some more.
Oh, we do. Okay.
88 sent one in.
88 sent
that
one in.
We'll probably definitely want to get on the show here.
Okay. All right.
Want me to send it to you?
No,
you
I got it. It'll just take me a second to load. So in the meantime,
why don't you pop up the first one and I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And then that'll give you some time.
Go for it. So this first one is, or a couple of these are from Ali.
Yeah, actually, and Ali sent these in. We had these sent in. They were late last episode, so we moved them over to this episode. Thank you very much, Ali. Always fantastic to have your art on the show. And this first one, is a great one of Obama doing his notorious wink. And it's called Barack in the Saddle, of course. Because we know that Joe Biden, if he gets into the office, we know who's working behind the scenes there. And in fact, Barack has not taken a break. He's a busy boy with his media contracts, and he's making some big political moves. We actually have not talked much about what Barack's been up to, but we probably should, because it's not nothing. I'll tell you that much. But of course, this is from Ali Gazel and Bonds in the chat. Ali, always a pleasure to have your art on the show here. And yes, again, this is Obama's notorious wink. He's in his nice bow tie tuxedo there. Let's see if I can find if there is some info on the art in the email. There it is. Barack in the Saddle. Nope, there it is. That's it. Speaks for itself. Thank you very much, Ali. Loving it. Very good. Oh, nice. Gons. Just we're losing control over there, huh?
Well, when I import stuff, it pops up. So
it pops right in.
Just sorry about that, but it will get to it.
Why don't you pop up the second one from Allie there?
So that was Allie's first piece of art. This one was a collaboration between Allie and Charlie.
Yes, Allie and Charlie. They've become quite the artistic duo here. We've always got some hand-drawn art from Allie, and then Charlie comes in with the graphic design flair here. And this one, folks, it's Obama. Well, let's start with here. It's a brick wall. And there's a hole sort of punched out in the brick wall, and behind it there's some clouds in the sky there. And Obama is creeping up through the hole in the wall, saying, "Mind if I just slip in here?" And it's very good. Again, we have got to catch up on what Obama's doing, because it looks like Allie and Charlie have been paying attention to Obama's activities recently.
He did introduce Biden in a rally recently, and he's Joe Biden, and then Joe was like, asleep behind a mask or something.
There's that video recently of it was Biden and Obama. Wow, I forgot his name. Biden.
Biden.
They were walking through like a school gymnasium or something, and Obama just grabbed a basketball and sunk such a fat 3-pointer out of nowhere, and kind of walked away and gave a little wink. And of course, the kids loved that one.
I'll take him on. I'll take him down.
I'll
take on BO. My behind the back step back 3, drain it.
You're very confident, Gons. I like this.
I've played a lot of basketball, and I'm not a tall guy. One of my favorite things that's ever happened to me ever in basketball, playing basketball, was I hit a 3-pointer. The guy guarding me was probably like 6'4", pretty tall guy. I'm not that. I'm much smaller, 5'7" I'm a short dude. So when I made my shot, my hand. You're supposed to hold a pose, when you release the ball with your hand. My hand slapped his face and I drilled the 3-pointer. It was one of my great basketball moments. So Barack, you better watch out, buddy. You'll get a slap in the face 3-pointer from Grumpy Guns.
All right, we'll set it up. Yeah, we'll set up the one-on-one.
Set up the one-on-one.
I'll call my LibJoe friend. I'm sure he can get Soros to pay for it. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. I'll train. I'll get back in the gym. All right. So yes, thank you, Allie.
Thank you very much, Allie and Charlie, getting into the action here.
Getting into the action, and also art from 88. He sent 3 of them. I think they're all the same.
They are.
Okay, good. I wasn't going to put this in 3 times, but this is oh boy. You go ahead, Basil.
This one's great.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
I'm just waiting for it to pop up on the stream here so I can see it. There it is. Okay, we've got another great piece from 88. Always love it, man. This one, oh man, wow. Where do we even begin?
I know. There's so much going on.
This is Canary Cry Radio, and big, nice announcement letters here. Canary Cry Radio Future War. And we've got great depictions, again, of Gons and I in our canary form, our sort of anime canary form. Of course, my headset has now transformed from, having 2 big googly eyes to having one like laser visor,
like a
kind
Cyclops.
of like this cyborg type of action there. Cyborg. I was trying to say Star Trek, like the visor, the guy with the visor in Star Trek. And Gons, you're over there on the right, and man, you've really got some energy to you in this one. Your eyes are bulging out of your head. You look very intense. And floating all around us, this is the depiction of the robot war. We've got drones with big eyeballs floating around us. There's a all-seeing eye. Flying pyramid with tentacles.
It's a reptile eye too.
Yes, a reptilian eye. And then there's a wonderful artistic depiction of an army of flippies.
Yeah.
These sort of little robot pods with spatulas coming out the bottom, wearing One of them looks like he's wearing a chef hat, or maybe that's some sort of explosion. And in the top right, we have a speech bubble from one of the drones saying, "Do you want fries with that?" Just like, of course, our good buddy Flippy, always asking if we want fries with that. And then pretty much every robot in the frame is saying, "Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?" And there's some hamburgers flying around. And of course, I've got my Tesla rifle that I'm zapping the bajingas out of a couple of these drones, which is nice to see. I think we're winning in this one, Gons. And
what am I holding?
That's a good question. You've got some sort of, makes me think maybe like an anti-gravity gun or something. We've got some material floating up. I don't know. We'll need to get, cool, whatever it is.
The material that you're seeing behind, like next to me, to my left, is DNA deteriorating.
Oh, yes. I see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very fun. This is a great one. You did a great job, 88. I love these. I say it all the time. I'm going to start printing these out. All the art I'm going to start printing out. And of course, on my jacket, my sort of flak jacket type thing, I've got the CCIA, the Canary Cry Intelligence Agency.
Yeah.
Which, yes, will be the institution that will sort of monitor the robot takeover here.
I like the little details. You mentioned my eyes bulging through my glasses.
Yes,
with my little
it through the glasses.
And also another small detail, blood dripping from your lips. So I think you were smacked by the Flippy.
I've taken a couple hits. Yes, and a little chipped tooth. Again, 88 has done a great job of depicting us in the same way that we see ourselves.
Yeah.
This is very good. Now, make sure if you are listening to the podcast, remember to head over to canarycrynewstalk.com. All the art is available on an episode by episode basis. So make sure to check out canarycrynewstalk.com to check out these art pieces. And eventually, someday, I'm going to get to posting. Whoa, excuse me. I'm going to get to posting all these on our Instagram at least. I'm kind of my enthusiasm for our Instagram has renewed recently.
Oh, so good. All right.
We've got a lot of content we can put up on that Instagram.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to all of our producers and our artists. You guys are the only reason this show can keep going. So we appreciate it very, very much.
Yes. And, we do want to thank That Night Wind. She said that she's done, but then she did still post timestamps to the last episode, 263.
Well, we thank her then for that.
Yeah,
too.
We'll thank her for that, and we'll continue to thank her as long as she does it. And
I know that she does work. She got a job, which we're very happy about. And of course, we would be sad to see her go and unable to help us with those timestamps. But I'm just saying, the video's up there. She can always watch it later.
Yep.
No pressure.
No pressure. You can do it in class, but also pay attention to what's going on.
Okay, there we go, Gons. Well, anything else?
Just a quick mention of Canary Cry merch perch.
Yes. That's where you can get your Canary Cry merch sold at cost, run by a member of the Canary Cry family, Producer Dust. Thank you very much. And remember, if you go there, grab some merch, make sure to, you can tip the webmaster, tip the artist, or tip Gons and I, if that's how you want to do it. It's a great thing. And remember, if you're in the club, getting off of Facebook, we all need to get off of Facebook, but if you want a place to hang out with other Canarians just like you can go to canarycry.community. It's a real URL filled with thousands, 1,000 and some hundreds of Canary Cry listeners just like you. It's a great place. It's not just conspiracy theories and current events, although that is a big part of it. People are playing games, sharing things about their life. If you have something going on and you got nobody to talk to, go post it in canarycry.community. There are some very loving Canarians who are there to connect with other listeners of the show, just like you. Okay, let's wake up.
Okay. Sorry. It's been way too much fun moving the thing around here.
Yes, it's wake up time.
This is good.
Sorry about that, people.
It's okay.
All right, you're back in your spot.
Was that it? Oh, I talked over it. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're fine.
Do it again. I want to hear it.
Okay.
Helps me get in the mood.
Oh, you talked over it again.
No, you did. Okay, here we go. Let's start out. Yes, manipulation of memories. Let's do this. I'm going to go over to singularityhub.com, your favorite place for news about the singularity. The article is titled, How Do We Remember Places? This study used lasers and VR to point the way. Ooh, lasers and VR. This is right up our alley, Gons.
Mind control intensifies.
Yeehaw. The article, if I can find it, there it is, reads like this. The curious contraption at University College London bordered between scientific wizardry and terrifying Black Mirror episode. It might have just proved a decades-long theory of how the brain's GPS system works. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a mouse jogging on a running wheel. His head is held firmly but comfortably steady. A transparent glass window replaced a bit of his skull. Hovering above are a microscope lens and dual lasers. A large video dome surrounds him, nearly encapsulating his tiny body. Entirely inside the virtual reality setup, as he runs along, peering at his virtual surroundings like a seasoned gamer in Ready Player One, scientists watch his GPS neurons involved in navigation literally spark with light under the microscope. And if that's not cool enough, here's the kicker. With lasers, the team was able to hack into the mouse's brain's GPS system and mentally transport him to a virtual goal location. It's as if you've just set out on a quest in an RPG game for a piece of precious gear. Suddenly, laser zaps to your brain, make you think you've already reached the goal location of the quest. You try to click open the gear chest, but to no avail, because in reality, you're still a ways off. Crazy, huh? The sheer coolness of that mind control setup is enough to go down in neurotech history. But even more mind-blowing is that it may have finally proven a Nobel Prize-winning theory of how our brains link specific memories to where in space they happened, real or virtual. That coffee place where you had a great date, that location in The Witcher where you found a precious mastercraft gear. A lot of game references in this article. Yeah. We may finally know how that's encoded in the brain. The study was published in the prestigious journal Cell. Quote, this study is a game changer as it shows that we can use optical reading and writing of activity in specific neurons to manipulate memories, allowing us to better understand and potentially improve how neural circuit activity helps us to make decisions, said senior author Dr. Michael Hauser. Not Dr. Michael Heiser, Dr. Michael Hauser at University College of London.
I'm convinced this is...
Have we found his secret identity?
Well, it's secret identity, or I was thinking they cloned him.
Yes.
They cloned him, but they're like, we can't call him the real Michael Heiser, so we'll go with this Michael Heiser.
You got to change his name a little bit.
Yeah, we need to inform him.
Michael Hauser. All right, moving on. Places and spaces. Knowing where you are in space is essential for life. Where did you park your car? Where's your house? Where's the cafe you liked again? As simple as some of these questions may seem, spatial memories are among the first to degenerate in disorders such as Alzheimer's. They also know, what did I say? Degenerate?
Degenerate. Same kind of thing. Yeah.
They also show how closely tied space is to memory, in that somehow our brains tend to pin down specific remembrances to a particular location. Decades ago, Dr. John O'Keefe at UCL unveiled a strange phenomenon that could explain why this is the case. The hippocampus, a deep brain region well known for encoding memories, also harbors place cells, neurons that spark with activity to process locations in space. Dubbed the brain's GPS system, place cells are a weird bunch scattered across the hippocampus. Each has its own personality in that it only fires when the animal, mouse, rat, or human is in a particular spot in space. In other words, place cells seem to map the world around us as we learn to navigate it and form a cognitive map in our brains. These abstract brain maps can help guide us towards our goal, the post office to drop off our mail, or the beer garden for a Friday happy hour. Place cells were one of were one part of the 2014 Physiology Nobel Prize for decoding the brain's sense of space, place. Yet one question okay, I'm losing it here.
You're starting to slur your words. Joe's really getting to you.
Joe's sniffing the brains right out my ears. Okay. Yet one question puzzled scientists. Given that place cells live among neural circuits that encode memory, how do the two interact? Are place cells simply a static atlas that we keep in our minds, or do they form an adaptable Google Maps of sorts that lets us label, star, and drop a pin at any location pointing to our memories? And then it goes into how exactly they blasted these mice brains with lasers to activate these place cells. But most importantly, Gons, using VR and lasers, they were able to mind control a mouse into thinking he was where he was not. Is this what's to come of us?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you would have kept reading too, it's pretty crazy how it says here the first is light-sensitive proteins called calcium sensors, which can be genetically added to mice. So the genetically added proteins called calcium sensors, which are light-sensitive, to help depict or see the lights flashing in the brain or whatever. The second is optogenetics. Here's a different set of light-sensitive proteins are inserted into the same neuron. These guys act as light switches rather than light bulbs. When zapped with lasers with different frequencies, scientists are able to flip these switches on and off. In turn, this activates or quiets down specific GPS neurons, basically controlling much of our memory based on spatial recognition. And yeah, it's troubling. I like how the Singularity Hub, it's like, oh, breakthrough.
I know,
but it's like,
well, and you can tell that they. I don't know, the way that this article is written really makes me think they're leaning towards a gaming commercial use, I mean, imagine, especially when Neuralink or something is common and you've got your little brain chip there and they can shine a laser into your brain, not just to make you think that you are somewhere else, but to feel that you are actually in that place. Yeah. With your sort of GPS, your brain GPS.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It can map out locations that you've never been and create spatial memories based on the virtual experience you're having.
Yeah,
so
this is crazy. This is a
insane.
mind control development. Really, it kind of tops any of the recent brain machine sort of interface studies that we've seen. Maybe ever. I mean, this is a really big one. Yeah. You're basically writing memories, maybe not memory in the traditional sense, but, where VR can make you optically see some other place, this can actually make you internally feel like you are at that place. Right. Because that is one thing with VR that doesn't quite get you. You kind of know you're still standing in your living room or something. But yeah, this would be really trippy. And it kind of fits into the whole grand scheme, the transhumanism scheme, where, you don't got to leave your house at all. You just control an avatar or explore and live in an entirely virtual world. This would make it a much more immersive experience. Yeah. Plus, you get a cool window into your skull.
Yeah. Yay.
Literal window.
Literal window.
Not a metaphorical window.
Well, yeah, just like the clear glass skulls of Sophia and her new twin. I can't remember her name. They can just see right into the head there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But it says here with our current explosion in brain computer interfaces. So this is like already happening. Could we eventually incept experiences based on previous memories and locations so powerful that they distort our reality? I mean,
watch out, humans! You have become.
Yes, become what? Anything and everything.
Man, I've been having a hard time remembering words lately. Yeah. I think there's somebody again. It's Biden. He's sniffing the brains right out of my ears. Wow, my goodness. Okay, Inception. So there you go, Gons. It's a big update.
Yeah, big update. Again, one of those things that's quietly being peddled out there while everyone's distracted with the elections.
You know what I think it is? When I'm doing the podcast with the VR helmet on, I'm very much in the zone. Like nothing exists around me that isn't podcast related. When I'm doing it now without it, I mean, there's like a whole room around me. There's things to look at. I'm getting distracted.
Oh no, the real world is a distraction to my ability to focus.
The world has really distracted me from
that used to
very
be
important podcast work.
It used to be that you can, and I'm this way, that when I start focusing on something, I tune everything out. Yeah. Where people, they call my name, hey, lunch is ready, whatever. I don't hear it. But I guess they just made it literal for you with the
I know it really is kind of, it was kind of fun at first. I'm a little worried now, but I mean, yeah, the world is a beautiful place and I'm getting distracted by it.
Yeah, this is
some nice flowers in my view. I'm just looking at flowers while I'm trying to save the world from the robot apocalypse.
This is what people don't understand about this podcast. It's not just us bringing you the news. We are the experiment as well, so you don't have to be. Basil is the experiment.
Point. Yes, yeah. We don't talk about that enough, but that was the whole reason of getting into the VR thing is like, hey, we're talking about it all the time. We might as well, have at least an experience in it so we can talk about it firsthand. I will say, I got to go back. The real world, it's too distracting. I got to go back.
Yeah. All right. Cyborg cockroaches.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Said the government to a bunch of cockroaches. This is govtech.com. Why might you want a cyborg cockroach army in your house?
Yay.
The answer: to help complete tasks. Wow. Okay. An army of small robots that could respond.
Tasks? What kind of tasks?
I don't know. An army of small robots that could respond to your command could be very helpful around the house. They can bring you things. They can bring you things, Basil.
Things.
Help you clean and do chores. Do I really want? Do I want cockroaches cleaning my house?
An army of cockroaches. It's like a twisted, sick version of Snow White or Cinderella when the birds come help clean the house.
Yeah, except cockroaches, and even
it's it's a Tim Burton version.
Yeah, exactly. So they can bring you things, help you clean and do chores, or even keep an eye on your home while you're away, thanks to built-in cameras. But tiny robots are difficult to create, particularly when it comes to how to power them. We just haven't invented small enough batteries yet. But Digital Nature Group at the University of Tsukuba in Japan, always my folk there, has come up with a solution that involves nature. They thought, instead of building an army of tiny robots from scratch, why not just turn the insects that already live in your house into one?
I could think of a few reasons why not, but okay. Convince me.
We have the cyborg cockroach. The team fitted the incredibly resilient and very creepy, in the opinion of many, cockroach with cybernetic implants that would allow a user to control their movements by stimulating their right or left antenna. This simply makes the roach think it has hit an object, and so it turns around. The cockroaches were also fitted with fiducial markers and an overhead camera system, as well as wireless connectivity, so all the tech can be operated remotely. A group of these roach cyborgs could be used for a number of tasks, including transporting objects, drawing or writing messages, or even creating a digital display by turning each individual insect into a pixel. Dancing roaches, Basil. And the best and also creepiest part is that they can feed themselves and be completely independent when you don't need them, hiding under the floorboards and being normal cockroaches until you activate the swarm.
What? So they are just actual normal cockroaches living in your house until you press a button?
We have
activate them?
We have upgraded the cockroaches.
Oh my gosh.
This is almost like, you're sitting in your room, you wake up, you're like, I don't really get up. I don't feel like getting up and making my sandwich. Pull out your little phone there, beep bloop. And these little cockroaches come out, go into the kitchen,
whistle a little tune, and then all these
soundtrack.
The pestilence comes out from beneath your floorboards and makes you a sandwich.
They bring it to you.
That is incredible.
Oh, we live in chaos.
Is this
clown
serious? World. This isn't a parody site or anything.
GovTech.com? I mean, don't think it's parody.
I guess. I don't know govtech.com. If it was govtech.gov, then
sure. Let me see if I can find they have a podcast. That's
well then of course they're real.
They're real.
Of course they're trustworthy.
About. Okay, let's go to the about section here. Let's do our due diligence.
Yeah.
Continue to cite. Okay. About Us, E.Republic is the nation's only smart media and research company focused exclusively on public sector innovation for state and local government.
Interesting.
We are a catalyst for better government. Our people are dedicated to creating the big ideas that move this mission forward. Big ideas like robot cockroaches.
Seriously.
Cyborg
what
cockroaches.
Was the, can you do a fine word again? And when it was talking about fiduciary, they had fiduciary responsibilities.
Yeah. That's something. Hold on, let me get back to it.
That was a weird one.
How come I can't get back to the article?
Fiduciary means, is like, let me just get the actual definition here. So, involving trust, especially with regard to the relationship between a trustee and a beneficiary, and a fiduciary as a noun is a trustee. So, it'd be somebody in charge of a trust. Or someone who, is maybe financially responsible for something. Are these roaches going to pay my bills?
I don't know. Fitted with fiducial. Is that the same word? I don't know if that's the same word.
Fiducial.
Fiducial. Hold on. Let me check real quick.
Fiducial.
Especially of a point or line assumed as a fixed basis of comparison. Oh, like fiducial markers.
Oh, okay. That's different.
Okay, yeah, it's different. Yeah. Not the FUE is what I think you were.
These roaches have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure you pay your taxes on time.
The aliens were cockroaches. We figured it out. So there you go. This is the reason for the artwork for this episode and everything else. This is crazy. I mean, quietly.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because, we've heard of stuff like this being possible. And again, this is where we're in this weird time, Gons, where like a lot of the hypothetical theories that we've reported on over the years are actually becoming physically real, which is a little concerning.
Just a little. Somebody's going to have a video of their little roach army, I don't know, doing art on the wall or something, and then move over and bring you a toothbrush.
If those little guys can do my taxes, I might think about it.
That's not a bad point.
At the very least, they can kind of crawl around and pick up all the loose change that's just laying around, in the couch cushions and stuff.
Yeah, in the future when coins don't mean anything anymore.
Also known as Basil's savings account.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. All right. You want to do the next one?
Yeah, sure. Last story that we have.
People are volunteering to do my taxes. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. You'll never see my tax returns or my birth certificate. Nice try. This has been a message from me, President-elect Basil.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
This is MirageNews.com. Are you going to do it? I think you should do it because you're the Madmax guy.
It was fun. This one got me very excited. Don't get too excited, but this is excited. MirageNews.com.
Tarticles.
I'm losing my mind. This tarticle is titled Madmax and CERN's Morpurgo magnet. Ooh. Madmax is preparing for a stopover at CERN from 2022. Mel Gibson, his artillery and quest for revenge will not be there. But instead a handful of physicists armed with an aged magnet will be searching for dark matter in CERN's north area, not to be confused with a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Indeed, the Madmax collaboration. Now, just so you realize, it's the magnetized disks and mirror axion experiment. It's an external to CERN. Humbly proposes to identify the nature of dark matter and to solve the enigma of the absence of CP symmetry violation in the strong sector while detecting a particle that has eluded physicists for decades. Axions. Did you get that, Gons? Did you get that? They humbly propose to identify the nature of dark matter and to solve the enigma of the absence of CP symmetry violation in the strong sector while detecting a particle that has eluded physicists for decades. Axions.
Yeah,
we talked about axions recently.
Yeah, we are. And also they piggybacked a little bit on the Madmax there with the
it's tomfoolery
experiment, using the X in experiment, not the actual. But anyway.
Madmax is a great name, though.
It is.
If I was a scientist, I would name it Madmax.
Sure.
To do so, the collaboration has developed a brand new concept using a booster composed of dielectric discs and mirrors. The booster acts as a resonator to amplify the photon flux that hypothetical axions would produce under a magnetic field, if these axions exist. In order to validate the concept, a prototype needs to be tested under a magnetic field before the launch of the experiment, planned to be located at Dessau in Germany. Wow,
Germans, man.
This other microphone really gives me a much more of a low end. Are you hearing this?
Yeah, keep going.
Although such a magnetic field is difficult to obtain, the collaboration can rely on CERN's assistance. On 16th of September, CERN's research board agreed that the Madmax prototype could use an old magnet previously used by the ATLAS experiment. The Morpurgo magnet is located in the north area, generates a field of up to 1.6 Tesla. And although it arrived at CERN in 1979, it is still used to test ATLAS subdetectors. Madmax physicists, I like that. Madmax physicists will jump in to mount and test their prototype during the interbeam period when ATLAS is not using the magnet. A solution that suits everyone. For Madmax, a magnet that meets the prototype's criteria is provided free of charge, and for ATLAS, the space around the magnet is reorganized and optimized, which is necessary for the installation of the prototype. The recycling and repurposing of equipment is common at CERN in the spirit of pragmatism and sustainability. With successive generations of equipment, state-of-the-art accelerators go on to become injectors for their successors, and old magnets are reused for new experiments. This is the case, for example, with the CAST experiment, which uses an old LHC dipole prototype in its search for, once again, axions. However, allowing external researchers to use CERN equipment, as in the case of Madmax, is far from trivial. According to Pascal Bralavorio, the Madmax contact person at CERN, wow, I just had a bunch of ads pop up all at once. They're trying to monetize my interest here. In the spirit of, they messed me up pretty bad. Sorry, everybody. However, allowing external researchers to use CERN equipment, as in the case of Madmax, is far from trivial. According to Pascal Prolavario, the Madmax contact person at CERN, this helps to develop new ideas. Quote, today, particle physicists are searching for new physics in many different directions, which naturally leads to experiments based on novel concepts. To validate them, we must make the most of the equipment that's already available. And that is what Madmax and CERN are doing with the Morpurgo magnet. CERN's endeavors to benefit science around the world have long been visible, whether through collaborations, prototyping, donating equipment, and more. And this is set to continue. Although we don't need another hero, we wish the Madmax researchers well in their quest for axions. Okay, there you go. Madmax is going to find axions, Gons. Don't worry. The post-apocalyptic wasteland is not just for barbarians and cannibals. It's also for kind-hearted scientists who share.
I like how they mention... Oh my gosh. Woo! That was super loud. Sorry. Wonder why that happened. Weird. That shouldn't have happened. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I like how they mentioned... reusing equipment or repurposing equipment in the spirit of pragmatism and sustainability.
Yes, of course.
Of course, CERN, the most expensive machine in the world, already used up, I don't know, tens of billions of dollars to look for stuff that's theoretically there in science. As
Science is truth.
The quest for knowledge.
The quest for knowledge. So for pragmatism and sustainability. I don't know. I just thought that was ridiculous.
No, it is. It is ridiculous. I like, thank you, Allie. Gasoline Bonds in the chat says Basil needs to relearn his humanity. The VR stole. It's true. It's apparently, it's debilitated my ability to operate in the real world.
Yeah.
So there you go. Madmax. It's there. It's real. I got to join that group of scientists. They'll let me in there. Even just for a spokesman. They can put me in a cool Madmax outfit, and I could be their PR guy.
Sure. That'll be great. I'm sure they'll.
You heard it. You heard it here first, folks. Sure.
Yeah. The Soros money that you'll get will fund all of your PR to get the attention of Madmax and CERN. And
it'll be
I'm
great.
I'm sure the guys, that you keep pressing on him, you send him, CVs and stuff, and I'm sure their headquarters. This guy still thinks we're talking about the movie.
This guy
doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it. Should we
I
guess
back
we
off
gotta
on the
hire him. What does he do? He's a
PR.
podcaster. Well, they're cheap. We can get them.
Sure. But there you go. I it's always fun when they come up with these interesting names for these projects. And
I know. See, that's the thing with these scientists. They like to have fun. They're not all axions and Higgs bosons.
Yeah, but they're still looking for something that's theoretically. You have the Lucifer telescopes in Arizona. Now you got Madmax. I mean, we're running out of names here of things.
Did we figure out what the axion was besides a cryptocurrency?
Was axion a cryptocurrency?
Well, it is. But what is the axion particle?
I don't.
The Higgs boson was a big
physicist.
deal. That's the God particle.
Yeah.
What is an axion particle?
Hypothetical elementary particle postulated by the PK or Pesce-Quinn theory in 1977 to resolve the strong CP problem in quantum chromodynamics.
It's a dark matter thing.
Yeah, dark matter.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, there you go. You got anything else for today's show, Guns?
I don't think so. I think we did
so
what we
too.
could.
I got to go back in my VR world. I'm losing my grip on virtual reality here.
You need to get Joe off your shoulder, but he may stick around for a couple more episodes.
Something tells me that will be easier said than done.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Pray for Basil.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode. We really, really appreciate you sticking with us. We'll have what?
I totally forgot to thank a snail mail.
Oh, let's thank right now.
We'll do it right now, but we'll do it again too because I feel bad that we totally forgot about it.
Okay.
We did, snail mail. We do have snail mail.
Beep, 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 beep. Snail mail.
You can always send stuff to Gonzo Shimura or Gonz Shimura.
So if you go to canarycryradio.com/support, there's all sorts of fun ways to support the show, but one of them is snail mail, the old-fashioned way, folks. And the address is on that page. Remember, you must address the envelope to Gonz Shimura. You do not write Canary Cry Radio on the envelope. That's it.
Yes, and I just wanted to thank producer Christine.
Thank you,
Christine, for the snail mail gift. That was very generous.
We will put you on the list of producers for next week.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks, everybody. Remember, we will be back. Let me pull up this human calendar here.
Friday the 13th.
I mean, regular calendar. Yes. Friday the 13th. Oh, that is the next show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, we'll be back on Friday the 13th with another episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll see. I'll try to get my brain working by that show, but it should be fun. So remember, put it on your calendar. Make sure to turn on notifications. And if you're following us in just one outlet, make sure to follow us in another. If you haven't done it yet, follow us at twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Turn on notifications. You don't want to miss a show, and we'll be back on Friday, the 13th, sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure to do that. And if you haven't done it yet, okay, we'll make the call now, Gons. Today was the 11/11 Angel Producers. Should we do a Friday the 13th producership, or is that too spooky?
I don't know. It's up to the people, really. It's not up to us.
You
can throw it out there and
I don't know. There's a Friday the 13th. I don't know what possible producership amount could connect to that, but I'll keep an eye on the chat if anybody has a good idea. But please remember, we can only do this show thanks to the producership of our producers. And that's you, dear listener. It's an opportunity for you to take your media future into your own hands, rebel against the systems of this world, the mass mind control media. Right now, advertisers put the value on different programs, whether it be mass media or smaller alternative media like us. And we don't think that that's a very sustainable system. You see all the negative things that come out of that. So please take a second to consider investing in the future of your own media, whether you get benefit out of the show, if it's entertainment or education, stories you haven't heard, the analysis, whatever it may be. If you get value out of the show, please consider becoming a producer. You can do that at patreon.com/CCNT, patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, you can head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right, canarycryradio.com/support. You got the PayPal options as well as cryptocurrency. Please remember that we will need you for Friday the 13th show. And there's other ways to support the show. You can create art. You can create jingles. You can create songs. That's right, full songs. Remember to stick around for the Canary Cry mixtape at the end of the broadcast here. Jingles. We always need more jingles. If there's something that we cover or touch on the show that we don't have a jingle for, feel free to put something together for us, as well as art. Remember, we prefer brand new art and music and jingles specifically written for the show by our producers. Sometimes, if you wrote something a few years ago and it just fits in perfectly, that's cool too. But, we're we're looking into the future here. We need we need progress, new pieces of art, new music, new jingles. It's all great. And we couldn't do it without our creative producers. You can send all that stuff to canarycryradio@gmail.com, canarycryradio@gmail.com, and you'll see it on the show. Also, leave a rating and a review. It's very important. I know it sounds silly, but when we get ratings and reviews, it is the only thing, really, that convinces the iTunes robots, the podcast algorithms, to share the show with people who haven't heard it before. So please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That is the preferred place. But really, anywhere you can leave ratings and reviews, that would be great as well. And more than anything, one of the best ways to share the show is y'all got friends, you got family who are waking up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And if you just share a show with them, send them this episode, send them a different episode, whatever you think might speak to them, we'll be happy to be a part of that process of them seeing that the world is a much richer and impressive place than the media has led them to believe. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah, folks. Thanks so much. Remember, Friday the 13th will be our next show sometime between noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Basil_Rosewater. Do it. We're having fun. I retweeted Kevin Sorbo the other day, so you know that's where the good content is, folks. There you go. Follow me on Twitter at
Hercules
Basil_Rose. He was a lot of things. I don't recall it. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was Hercules. Anyways, there you go. Let's see. Make sure to go to canarycry.community. Make sure to go to Canary Cry merch perch. Am I forgetting anything, Gons?
Kevin Sorbo was Hercules.
Okay, Kevin Sorbo was Hercules. Another great reason to follow me on Twitter. All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Pot, that's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered. Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt. Fluoride. Oxytocin. Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
future humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.